guys, and welcome back to my slop channel. I took last week off. I was going to apologise. I shall not apologise. I had to take it off for my mental health. Around about this time last year was when someone really close to me randomly died. And one of my friends said that the body holds on to trauma, and I thought that that was just pseudoscience babble. But now I'm not sure, because I definitely, all of last week, I felt really weird and anxious and just ill, like not very well, even though there was nothing physically wrong with me. So I took some time off, and now I'm back. Wow, it's been a whole year. I can't believe I've stayed sober. I don't really know how I stayed sober. Not that anyone cares. Yeah, I don't know how last year I stayed sober. Sheer force of will. Though someone who was sober and a life coach used to tell me that it can't all be down to willpower. He used to say, willpower's great when you've got it. But when you don't have any willpower, what do you have to rely on then? I don't think I even know the answer to that. Pig-headedness, on my behalf, I mean. Sheer pig-headedness and stubbornness. I wasn't going to start, God, I wanted to. Start drinking. God, I wanted to. But I didn't. So here I am. Anyway, what should we do today? There's actually a lot. Do you know what? Shall we start? I know this is all like a week or so out of date, but just bear with me. Shall we start with the gruesome twosome? Bonnie Blue and Lily Phillips. What did they do? They faked being pregnant. Bonnie Blue started it off. She was fueling pregnancy rumours by being, after shagging 1,000 blokes, she started pretending that, I'm sure she was having cravings, but probably just normal like girl cravings for things, but she started having specific cravings and she started mentioning this. So then people started to assume, oh my god, is she pregnant? Paternity test companies stocks gonna go up as she buys 1,000 of them. Is she pregnant? Who's the father? Who knows? Who cares? And then Lily Phillips decided to pretend. So whilst Bonnie Blue, she knew what she was doing and she wasn't saying yes or no, and she was fueling these rumours, Lily Phillips actually pretended to have a pregnancy bump. And then, it turns out that they were both just faking and being stupid. Let's go through some articles, shall we? Right. Bonnie Blue, pregnant rumours sweep X as she shares photos of cravings weeks after bedding 1,000 men. Bonnie Blue has sparked wild rumours she's going to become a mother after teasing a post about having cravings on Instagram. The OnlyFans star, 25, who is from Derbyshire and whose real name is Tia Billinger, took to Instagram to share a snap of pickles covered in chocolate sauce and sprinkles, as well as dry noodles and chicken nuggets. That sounds like a Tana Mojo dinner. The controversial adult content creator, who recently claimed she said, we know, captioned the crap as well. Hashtag cravings as she shared it on her Instagram story. Many rushed to X, formerly known as Twitter, speculating that Bonnie might be pregnant and wondering who the father could be, considering she proudly boasts about bedding hundreds of men for her job. One person wrote, all-time shocker, Bonnie Blue is pregnant. For some reason, she doesn't also know who the dad is. Another added, Bonnie Blue pregnant. But to who? But who to? Chris Kamara. Find that meme if you can, where someone's like, who did the goal, Chris Kamara? And he's like, I don't know, Jeff. Oh my god, I love Chris Kamara. Someone else said, Bonnie Blue is known for sleeping, blah, 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 and is reported pregnant. Another person shared a clip of a crowd celebrating and quipped the other 999 blokes when they find out they aren't the father to Bonnie Blue's kid. Despite the cryptic Instagram story, the content creator didn't provide any evidence to confirm she is expecting a baby. So the rumour mill started, and then Lily Phillips announces she is pregnant, saying the secret is out. OnlyFans star Lily Phillips, known for sleeping with 100 men. Try harder, Lily. Bonnie's out there, breaking her back. She did 10 times that. I'm joking, don't do it. The sex worker shared her news on Instagram, posting a photo cradling her bump with the caption, the secret is out, baby Phillips 2025. Another image captures two pregnancy tests side by side with... That's too far, isn't it? The bump was too far. Faking a pregnancy is too far, but to fake the pregnancy tests... Oh my goodness. With the digital test reading 1 to 2 weeks, suggesting Lily has been keeping her news under wraps for quite some time. Meanwhile, a black and white video clip shows Lily smiling along with the caption, it's official. It's unknown if Lily is dating, although she told Metro back in October that being in a relationship wasn't a priority for her. Now, though, it seems Lily is turning her attention to motherhood, although her announcement hasn't completely been met with heartfelt congratulations. While some followers have wished her the best, a larger number are claiming the reveal as a stunt for marketing attention, with others branding her pregnancy fake news. One wrote, "This is not real," while another added, "I am here for all the gullible comments." Some commenters are also keen to point out that to fake a pregnancy is undeniably cruel, with M. Janae saying, "So many women are desperate to have children and can't." However, to brand the OnlyFans star a liar during her pregnancy could be equally damaging. Oh, shut up, Metro, you simps. Ha! Egg in your face now, silly billies, that she was obviously faking it. I don't think it's damaging to call... When people act out for attention, why should the onus then be on us for calling them attention seekers or calling them liars? Why is it suddenly, oh, but you might be hurting someone's feelings if you're calling that known liar a liar just because it's about something that's a little bit sensitive? Am I mental? Am I the asshole? If someone wants to cry wolf all the time and then you call them a wolf, I don't know what the expression means or how it goes, why am I the bad one? Why is it not on them for lying? Why should I believe them? Right. So anyway, final article from The Sun. Bonnie Blue confirms that she is not pregnant and opens up about fertility battles that left her extremely low... Oh no, I'm going to get in trouble now. I'm going to get in trouble. What am I feel like, you know, Boris Johnson put a curse on the UK. Find that clip where he's being interviewed and he goes, that was a spot on impression. Keep that in the video. That was a spot on impression. Bonnie Blue has revealed she is not pregnant. Why was I making those noises? Oh yeah, because like, no, I'm not falling for it. You can't be such a dick, yeah, and then, who cares, it's the second channel, and then try and go for the sympathy angle. Like, I'm sorry, mate, like, if you've made a career out of yourself being nasty and being a dickhead, but then you try and drum up sympathy by being like, I've had struggles with XYZ, I'm not going to have much empathy for you. I would rather save the empathy for people who aren't being dicks. Am I out of order? Rachel, tell me if I'm being out of order. But I feel like that's where this is going. Maybe we should read it first before jumping the gun. Bonnie Blue has revealed she is not pregnant. The controversial adult content creator has been playing up to rumours she's expecting after speculation began last week. However, Bonnie, 25, has now set the record straight, telling documentary maker Josh Lee Spooner in a video on YouTube she isn't pregnant. She also said that the rumours have been started by the media. No, they were started by you, and you know full well... Ooh, gonna get annoyed. And she had no idea what she was being asked for a comment when initially approached. But as the speculation continued to swirl, Bonnie decided to try and start giving back. So the last 24 hours I've hinted at being pregnant, she said. I have never confirmed I was pregnant because I would never ever lie about pregnancy. No, but you'd hint at it to get people talking. How's that any better? Bonnie added, saying that doing so would be a step too far. That's obviously a slight to Lily. Asked why she thinks it's too far, Bonnie explained that she herself went through a period of trying to get pregnant for a long amount of time. What do you mean a long amount of time? You're 25, babe. Chill. Like, she was 23 when she split up with her husband, right? Chill. Live your life. Spread your legs and fly. There's like 10,000 men out there that you ain't got around to yet. Don't settle down, Bonnie. I'm awful. And it was honestly like the most lonely experience, she sighed. Because you don't really tell family and friends. It's not something like that's spoken about much. Depends who your mates are. Really, you can... I don't know. The friend people you can talk to, I suppose. Is it that easy? Yes. I can talk. I'm a non-stop yapper. I don't care who I'm yapping with. I'm telling whoever I'm looking at, I'm telling them everything. So if I was to have seen someone joking about pregnancy, I wouldn't have seen the funny side of it. But you were hinting at it. How's that any better? She was hinting at it for attention. How is that? Oh, so I can be like, ooh, maybe I am, maybe I aren't. But like to you know, confirm it and lie is a step too far. I don't understand these women. Bonnie also revealed the expense of the process of trying to get pregnant was immense. Even shelling out on pregnancy and ovulation tests, plus the vitamins, supplements she was advised to take, was a pricey process. It's hard. Then you see all these other people getting pregnant or people joking about it, and it's something, as a woman, you're like, why can't I get pregnant? I should be able to get pregnant. Don't be hard on yourself, babe. So yeah, I knew like my only sort of options was potentially IVF or looking at other options. I didn't have the money for that. Josh then said he and Bonnie's team have suggested some things that the creator to do with the pregnancy prank, which she turned down due to her respect for women. Is the respect for women in the room with us, Bonnie? Was it respect for women when you called all of your critics middle-aged, ugly, not as hot? Was it respect for women when you encouraged men with men with girlfriends and men with wives to cheat on you? Was it respect for women when you said to the aforementioned middle-aged women that you would shag their barely legal sons? Where is the respect for women? You can't do you know what? You can do what you want, yeah. But I'm going to have a go. Because how can you have a career where you have denigrated women at every possible opportunity, right? Just called them like ugly and God knows what, and being rape culture adjacent by saying that you need to sleep with your man, otherwise like he should be allowed to cheat on you. So if you're not in the mood, you should basically like just let the man use your body, right? You've said all of this bollocks, but pranking about pregnancy is a step too far because of your respect for women. Shut up, you liar. Craig Wolf. The comment was possibly referring to Bonnie's adult content creator rival Lily Phillips, who posed with a large baby bump last week and started rumours that she's pregnant. If Lily hadn't have done that, guaranteed there wouldn't be all this buzzword rubbish about having respect for women and all. That's a step too far. You're so transparent. You should be a window. Bonnie went on to say that with the media attention, I'm hungry, so I'm extra mad. And the extra income I've had over the last few days, she has decided to pay for someone's IVF journey. I want to do good and I want to do better. In the UK, IVF can cost between 3.8 grand or 7.5 grand, depending on the clinic and the package. You know, she makes like nearly £1 million a month. So she, right, because she's got this rivalry going on with Lily, and Bonnie somehow thinks that she's the better of the two. I don't know by what ethical or moral barometer she's going off of, but she thinks she's the better of the two, yeah? She's grandstanding, essentially. I'll say it. She's virtue signalling. She makes almost £1 million a month. She could just pay for dozens of women's IVF treatment if she wanted to. I want to do good and I want to do better, she continued. I want to pleasure people, and I don't just mean guys, bollocks. And yeah, I think about paying for someone's IVF journey as something I'm passionate about, something I want to do, and something that's going to be good to do with my money. Bonnie insisted she doesn't mind the hate or being judged because that means she's then able to fund someone else's IVF process. The similarities between this woman and these TikTokers, who shall remain nameless, but who I don't like, is actually quite stunning. So she got all of this negative attention for hinting at being pregnant when she wasn't, and she's decided to virtue signal by pretending that, oh, well, actually, that was my intention all along. So then, the extra hate that I've drummed up, it's made me some extra cash this month and I can pay for some IVF treatments. She's making almost £1 million a month. You are so dumb. Do you not realise that if you, apropos of nothing, had turned around and just gone, do you know what? I made a bunch of money this month. I'm going to donate a tenth of what I've earned, like 100 grand, to funding dozens of women's IVF treatments. If you'd done all of that without faking the pregnancy rumours, people like me would have turned around and been like, fair play, fair enough. I'm not going to... Would I think it's still a bit virtue signalling? Yes. But you don't need to drum up negative publicity to then go on and do a nice thing. You don't need to do that. There's some TikTokers who I don't like. I'm not going to mention because their fans are idiotic. But they'll do negative things for attention. And then when the negative attention gets a bit too much, they'll suddenly then throw in, I'm going to do this XYZ thing for charity. And it's like, and then they'll say, yeah, so keep engaging with my videos at like them being stupid, because it will go directly to this charity or whatever. And it's like, you can just do that without people giving you hate and without it being a response to people giving you hate. And then people will believe your sincerity a lot more than if you... Do you understand where I'm coming from? It's the similarities between her and them is actually quite... Is it a narcissist thing, do you reckon? She then goes on to say this. So yes, I bonk barely legals. Yes, I will drain your husband on a regular basis, especially when you're not doing it. Where's the respect for women now, Bonnie? But I also want to do other things like pay people's IVF journey. You can do all of that without being a dick. Bonnie went on to ask women or couples looking to start IVF to drop her a message on Instagram to let her know about their journey and situation. Imagine if the reason you were here is because Bonnie Blue funded it. I choose the void. I still want to bonk barely legals, barely prefect. What does that mean, babe? What does that mean? Keep her away from hospitals, the disabled, and your husband. Like, that's not going to change. That's my passion, that's my hobby, but I'm also passionate about other things. And I guess it's not been until now that I've been in a position to really help. Until now, you've been making a lot of money for a while, mate, and make a difference from that point of view. As for how she's planning to choose the lucky recipient of her funds, maybe I should start a queue, she laughs. An IVF journey queue. God, you'd have to be really desperate to join that queue. Anyway, Bonnie, I see through you. You don't impress me. You're not as slick as you think. Anyone can be loud and stupid and get attention. Maybe I should start doing that. Just be loud and stupid and get more attention. Whatever. And I'm not impressed by your empty gestures and virtue signalling. Today's video we're looking at, you guessed it, Bonnie Blue, yet again, my favourite. Love her. This time, it's apparently an interview with someone who took part in Bonnie Blue's recent attention-grabbing stunt where she had sex with 157 men in 12 hours. I know. Yikes and ouch. I had sex with Bonnie Blue on camera, and one thing surprised me. I'm getting like nails on chalkboard sensation, even just like, thinking of this. Right. A former plumber who performed on camera with Bonnie Blue has unveiled insights about her off-screen persona. Bonnie has grabbed the spotlight after alleging she slept with 157 men in a span of 12 hours to set a world record. While one man has grimly recounted why he rethought participating, another, Andy Lee, big of him to put his name out there, who has collaborated with Bonnie professionally. Former plumber? Oh, he's now an adult film star. Okay, whatever, it's fine then. Shed light on her real-life character. In a chat with The Mirror, adult film star actor Lee expressed his astonishment at Bonnie's contrast between on and off-camera behaviour. Off-camera, she's really quiet and sweet, but as soon as the camera turns on, the sex demon comes out. She's probably quiet and sweet off-camera because she's got to process all of this stuff she's doing. Oh, fuck off. I already know something that's going to piss me off. He continued by revealing her competitive spirit, stating she's very competitive too and always wants to do more and do better. She is great to deal with, is up for anything, and is always fun. Because she did this to compete against Lily Phillips, obviously. I think if these guys get in touch with Mr. Beast, there's going to be some sort of like 100 men challenge in space. Last one to leave the orgy gets to own the space station. I think that's going to happen. Additionally, Lee pointed out Bonnie's savviness, remarking she's actually very intelligent. She knows exactly what she's doing to get people talking because it's not fucking hard. It is not hard. It's like people being like, oh, well, Belle Delphine is, God, I miss those days. Miss the days of, even though she was doing jailbait for, possibly nonsense on her OnlyFans. That's a whole other thing. Let's not get into it. The whole Belle Delphine thing of, oh, she's a brilliant marketeer because she knows what to do to get people talking. And it's like, yeah, it's not hard. If I went outside to Parliament right now, Parliament Square, and just took all my clothes off and started pouring honey on myself, rolling around in the grass, and then tried to run into Parliament to, give Keir Starmer a honey naked grass-filled hug, I would be in all of the newspapers because I'm doing something stupid for attention. Going online and just saying whatever, it's a bit like the Ricardo Avocado thing. These people turn around because they have some plausible deniability to people who have 50 IQ points, yeah? They turn around and go, ha! I was only pretending to be stupid for attention in the first place. And it's like, no, but you were still being stupid though. It's called, and this is big of a YouTuber to say this, it's called having integrity. I could make diss tracks and diss videos on anyone and everything and say the most flagrantly stupid or even slanderous stuff. We've got some good slander laws in the UK. We've got some good libel laws. I could go online and allege that I once had an orgy with a bunch of A-listers at blah, blah, blah. You can just, not just me. I didn't have an orgy with just to clear things up. And I'm not going to run around Parliament in the nude, covered in honey, because it's not vegan. Anyone can say and do anything for attention, and we do see it all the time. Remember that was that TikTok craze, yeah, of people licking ice cream at the shop and then putting it back? Would you call them savvy? Would you be like, oh, well, they got people talking about them though? Yeah, she's gaining a lot of money for it, but it's called having integrity. I could go onto podcasts and be like, do you know what? Women shouldn't be allowed to vote and men should cheat on their husbands, and people would talk about it. People go fucking ballistic. So then people would talk about it more if I just did such a public 180. about feminism. But I could do it, and you know what? Then I'd probably get invited onto so many grifting podcasts and like alpha male podcasts, and there would be a revenue stream there. I could make a lot of money doing that, because there's a lot of money to be made in making an absolute tit out of yourself. But it's called having integrity. And I don't know if I succeed or fail, but I do try to have integrity. Have I made mistakes? Of course I have. But am I just going out and saying like the absolute most mentalist things that I can for attention? No, not really. Also, I'm too old for the drama. I don't care. So this whole thing of, well, she's actually very intelligent because she's just saying dickheady, misogynistic babble to get attention, has real world consequences and real world ramifications when you are propping up men who already believe in that stuff. She's a proponent of rape culture, essentially, being like, basically women should just have sex with their husbands even if they're not feeling it, even if they're not doing it, just to make sure that the husbands don't cheat on you. It's fucking nonsense. It's damaging. Anyone can do it as well. She is not special. Oh, I'll say outrageous things for... Yeah? Belle Delphine was doing outrageous things for attention first, and to my knowledge, she didn't actually end up hurting anyone. There was that thing where she like broke like 100 eggs over herself. Not good for the chickens, but it didn't actually like have wider societal ramifications. Fuck me. Can't believe I'm being like, you know what, Belle Delphine, all is forgiven, come back. I never minded her that much. Anyway, I just don't like the weird stuff that she was doing on her OnlyFans, which was, it was deliberately catering towards low-key and noncy male audience. Look into it more if you don't believe me. But I completely reject that, oh, she's intelligent because she's just an attention seeker. We all are a little bit to be doing this in the first place, but it's not fucking hard. Maybe I should just throw all ethics and morality out the window, and I should be doing this kind of, in a way, grift. Because it kind of is. Make much money from it. Well, money's not actually the be-all end-all, so I'm not that arsed. Yeah, I'd like to own a house one day and be able to afford buying a Freddo, but So, recently Bonnie made headlines for alleged intimate encounters with over 100 students during a Nottingham Precious Week visit. Dublin native Andy Lee, known for his appearance on Channel 4's My Massive, has filmed steamy scenes with her, addressing whether Bonnie's ludic endeavour would affect her professional image. What professional image? This is her professional image. Lee asserted, of course it will. She is making a fortune. She is the most talked about adult female entertainer in the world, if not the most talked about female in the world right now. Love her or hate her, she is winning. These people equate this kind of narcissism to winning, because in their eyes, that's all that matters, as long as they have enough money, which doesn't go with you when you die. These same fucking people, this is obviously a more extreme example, but it's the same logic. There is a influencer gym bro guy who has kind of a no-nonsense approach to his content. Forget his name. No-nonsense approach to his content. I was following him a little bit for a while and I unfollowed him because of this. He was on a podcast talking about how he flew out somewhere and he's got a no-nonsense approach to his content, so that's why people like him, yeah. To do a podcast with Andrew Tate. And then he justified it later on by saying, it was the most downloaded podcast I've ever done. Millions of people viewed it or heard it or watched it. So that's where your line is. Like, it's okay to do a podcast with someone who is being convicted or is in and out of court and prison for, I'll say allegedly, but I don't feel like I need to say allegedly, for human trafficking, for sexually abusing women, trapping women, forcing them to do manual sex labor essentially. But who cares about that? Because my podcast got the most downloads, so who cares about that? Who gives a fuck about people as long as you have the most clicks and downloads? Am I right? That is a more extreme example, but it's akin to what this bloke is saying. Love her, hate her, she's winning and because she's being talked about. I just thought of something really extreme in my head and I'm not going to say it, but I won't go on about this point anymore because I feel like I'm going to get more and more extreme in my examples, and then my GCHQ agent, of which I'm convinced I have one, is probably going to have a word with me and be like, you need to chill out a little bit. Because I'm just being hypothetical, but there are many ways to get talked about and get attention. And these people just truly do believe, well, bad publicity is good publicity, and it's fucking stupid, and it's completely intellectually bankrupt, which is hilarious because this bloke has been like, oh, she's very smart. Maybe she's smart to you because maybe you're dumb. Maybe you're just dumb. Read a book. I don't even care about the sex stuff at this point. I'm just so fed up of people seeing other people and like propping up the mediocrity of people's intelligence. Like, what are you actively doing to be smart, other than be attention seeking? What are you actively doing? Am I just sore because I've chosen to be a philosopher. Give it 5 years, it'll be Alizee, philosopher, then YouTuber. So I actively have to work on my information retention, my argument honing, my facts and logic. I actively have to work on this shit. But these guys are just going out there being fucking stupid, endangering themselves, because we covered on my main channel in the previous video, Bonnie Blue basically has been robbed, almost got robbed, and almost got gang assaulted because she wasn't having security and she was letting anyone come to her. So she's endangering herself, telling men that it's okay to cheat on their wives and it's okay to engage in... She almost had an incest thing with like a son and a husband. She's the one that said no, but they were up for it. That is disgusting. I'm kink shaming that. I don't care. Have a normal kink, like a little daddy fetish. Not that... Maybe that son had a bit of a daddy fetish. That is too far, though. Anyway, regarding the... if you think she's smart, maybe you're just dumb. Regarding the online debate over the ethics of her actions, Andy simply remarked, people online should keep it up. She's preying on the hate. I know, and I'm part of the problem, but I'm allowed to have an opinion. It's not a free country. Am I allowed to have an opinion? I do live in England. I'm going to have an opinion. Whatever. That's the end of that article. Dumb person thinks another dumb person is smart. Thank you guys so much for watching. God, I bet people think that I am like so woefully ignorant and so low IQ. I have no rebuttal for that. The only true knowledge is knowing that you know nothing after all. So I know nothing, which makes me smarter than everyone else who is a Dunning-Kruger and thinks they know something. Anyway, unfortunately for today's episode of The Slop, The Trough, The Slop, the girls are fighting. The girlies are fighting, and I just hope that they can work through this. I am, at this point, clearly their biggest fan and supporter. Bonnie Blue slams jealous Lily Phillips and claims former friends stole her idea to bed 1,000 men in a day. Now, I knew they'd been friendly in the past because I think they made content together, but I didn't know that they had like specifically fallen out. And I found out it's because when Bonnie was saying all of her, nonsensical sexist stuff, Lily called her out on it, saying that it's not consensual if a woman feels like she must sleep with her boyfriend, otherwise he'll cheat, because then she's not into it. So how is that consensual? And I thought, you know what, Lily? I knew there was a reason why I do quite like her. Not like enough to like follow her socials or anything like that. I don't know. I sense there's more of a vulnerability there. Whereas Bonnie is just bad news because she's just not very nice. Take it from one mean bitch, right, to another. She's not a nice person. I can tell. I'm not a very nice person. So, anyway, Bonnie Blue has come out swinging against fellow OnlyFans star Lily Phillips, claiming that Lily stole her idea to sleep with 1,000 men in a single day. What an idea to steal. It's not... Nope, nothing springs to mind. Lily, 23, oh, she's so young, made headlines last year after bedding 100 men in one night before announcing her plans to up the ante by sleeping with 1,000 men in 24 hours. However, Bonnie beat 25, allegedly, beat Lily to the punch this month after having sex with an eye-watering 1,057 fellas in 12 hours. Now, Bonnie has told DailyMail.com that Lily stabbed her in the back by stealing the idea from her after they became friends last year. Well, what do you care? You did it. You got there first. According to Bonnie, the betrayal happened last year. The betrayal, it's not that deep, dude. She invited Ingenue, an innocent or unsophisticated young woman, okay, Lily, to join her at Freshers Week in the UK to sleep with dozens of first-year university students for OnlyFans. Why'd that just give me chills? Oh, I don't like that. Way before Lily even put on... By the way, I have merchandise and I can't link it here. So go to ayclothing.tubo.com. Way before Lily even put it on her socials that she'd like to do the world sex record. And when I helped her out and invited her to do my Freshers content, I shared the idea with her, saying I really wanted to do the world record, Bonnie explained. And I guess I'm very trustworthy and oblivious to people's bitterness. Oh, she's horrible. You're so nasty. You're so passive aggressive. I'm not passive. I'm aggressive aggressive. I don't do passive aggressiveness. I do aggression aggressiveness. You are so annoying. I'm very trustworthy and oblivious to people's bitterness. You are so annoying. Shut the fuck up. Unrelated, but like every time I think of Elon Musk, do you know what song starts playing in my head? Shut the Fuck Up by Pink Guy, Filthy Frank. It just starts playing. It's just like, shut the fuck up. Can't do the rest, so I'll get monetized. I've already been demonetized for saying fuck too many times in this one video. So I shared my idea that I'd like to do it. Then it wasn't until November, 3 months later, she then announced on her socials that she was doing the world record. She continued, rivalry suggests competition, and that I don't have. Oh, I can just feel her smugness. You know that smug fucking smile that she does, where she's just like, everyone who likes me, who dislikes me is a 50-year-old woman. Shut up. In terms of the world record, both me and Lily know it was my idea, as I've spoken to her about it. Well, congratulations. It's a race to the bottom of you two, isn't it? Bonnie even said that she'd introduced Lily to media contacts and tried to help her make a name for herself in the adult industry off of the back of her viral student content, only to be betrayed when Lily turned out to be a copycat. I help Lily with publicity. I don't feel like people in the industry need to be jealous. There's multiple subscribers and plenty of space for everyone, she said. Bonnie also took a swipe at Lily's porn prowess by bringing up the now viral video of her crying after sleeping with 100 men in a single night. Seeing someone cry after content is not nice, and not everyone is cut out for these circumstances, so I really wish her all the best. Do you? Do you wish her all the best, you nasty piece of work? No, you don't. Like, this way, she's so passive-aggressive. Just say it with your chest. Like, I would actually, I would respect her more if she turned around and went, she cried, how weak. I would, and follow my OnlyFans. It would be horrible, but she is horrible. So just like, be horrible. Like me. Just do it. Just like, don't. I'm not saying this is for everybody, nor is everyone hot enough to even do what I do. Oh, shut up. The types of men who are queuing up to have sex with you are low value, not high value men in the slightest. Those types of men would like sleep with anyone. Like, looks really don't factor into when it comes to some men and sex. Like, looks don't really factor into it, body. So nor is everyone hot enough to even do what I do. You work in the porn industry, and there's such a diverse like selection of people who do porn. It's so diverse. So I'm not sure where this hot enough thing is even coming from. You genuinely, like, I can't say. If you go look on the websites, there's genuinely just like such a wide variety of like people of like different looks. She's so annoying. But this is something I thoroughly enjoy, and I'm going to continue doing. What's next? 10,000. In a bid to beat Lily, Bonnie decided to move her group sex stunts forward to ensure that she'd be the first one to undertake the jaw-dropping task of breaking the world sex record. OnlyFans is going to get banned. Probably not in America, but something's going to happen over here, surely. Maybe you guys don't know about this, but like several years ago, the Tories decided to just ban loads of stuff in like UK-made porn, and I'm not going to say the list because then I'll definitely get demonetized. So I'd be surprised if OnlyFans doesn't end up either being severely regulated in this country or just banned because of these stunts. So on January 11, she slept with 1,057 men. Lily has since responded with plans of an even more extreme stunt, announcing last week that she's doing a backdoor challenge with as many guys as possible. It is literally a race to the bottom. Please don't. Please, you are going to damage yourself. Do you want to have a prolapse? Do you want to... Don't do that, Lily, please. Like, because at this point, screw the UK government. I will ban you. I will ban you from doing that, Lily. Don't do it. The 23-year-old also shocked the internet after filming herself parading down the streets of London while covered in male bodily fluids. Don't worry, we'll do that in the next video. Well, this is literally the slop channel. Literally. While Lily and Bonnie managed to avoid each other since their bitter falling out, the OnlyFans sensations will come face to face, on January 25th. That's Friday. At the AVN Awards in Las Vegas. The AVNs, dubbed the Oscars of Porn, is the most prestigious ceremony in adult entertainment. Where's my invite? Why have I not been flown out there? I wrote a porno, didn't I? I'm going to write even more. Honestly, I'm not appreciated. In anything I do, I'm so unappreciated. I'm so left out of all of the cliques. Nobody wants me. Both Bonnie and Lily are up against each other in the fan-voted category of favourite independent female creator. Speaking about her award show prep, Bonnie said that she already had fittings with Louis Vuitton and a London designer to get the perfect red carpet outfit ready. Daily Mail has contacted Lily, but she declined to comment. Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. It is a huge day for the unemployed which also now counts Bonnie Blue because she is unemployed because she has been banned from OnlyFans. This is not a drill. This better not be some sort of hijinks that OnlyFans have also got involved with to get even more attention and controversy and infamy. Usually I put this kind of content on my second channel, my slop channel, which I haven't uploaded on in ages. Is this too rogue? I have some videos that are drafts on that channel that I haven't bothered publishing yet because I kept forgetting. And they're about Bonnie, but they're like a month out of date. Is it still worth putting them up? What do you guys think? Because one of them's really funny, but if I do say so myself. But now it's just kind of like lost to the ether unless I upload it. Anyway, let me know if it's okay to put up month-long, out-of-date content on a secondary slop channel. I just thought this was such a monumentous occasion. This should go on my main channel. Also, remember when I used to do what I wanted on my main channel, how much more like fun it was and how much more relaxed I was? Exactly, doing that now. So, OnlyFans. So The Sun are a terrible newspaper. We tend to boycott them in England. I am on them right now though, but that's so you don't have to. That is a good pun. OnlyFans, that is a good pun, I will admit it. Bonnie Blue banned from OnlyFans as adult star set to lose massive £600,000 a month pay after extreme challenge. The adult star has hit headlines with desperate stunts. Bonnie, what is that? That is not you. You do not look like that. How much have you smoothed? Look at the difference. Is this like Botox before and after and before? Bonnie, you do not look like that. Chill out, mate. Controversial star Bonnie Blue. Oh yeah, by the way, my parasocial relationship with Bonnie Blue has developed. People who follow the slop channel to Alizee Too Furious that I will start uploading on again, they know that I went from loathing Bonnie Blue to kind of I don't know, Stockholming myself into finding her funny because I was just reading about her too much. That always happens with me though. I always end up finding horrible people hilarious. It's actually a big character flaw of mine and it's got me in plenty of trouble in my personal life in the past, but I'm not going to go into that. Maybe one day I will in an autobiography. If I write an autobiography, there's at least 10 people right now who should be quaking. Controversial star Bonnie Blue has been banned from OnlyFans and is set to lose her massive $600,000 a month pay, The Sun can reveal. The content creator, who shot to fame by allegedly bedding 1,057 men. I don't believe it. I want to see the birth certificate. I don't believe that she actually did that. Has had her page pulled due to breach of terms after her extreme challenge content crossed a line. The other stuff didn't cross a line, but this apparently was a step too far for OnlyFans. Look, I'm not ragging on anyone. She's pretty, all right. But that's like a recent picture. Like, what are you doing? How much did you smooth this invasion? I can't talk. You see how Photoshop my thumbnails are? Bonnie was previously branded predatory for romping with teenage lads. Can The Sun talk? I'm pretty sure it was The Sun who ran a countdown for the day that Charlotte Church was turning 16. Maybe I should Google that so I don't get sued. Okay, huge boobs on this random forum says that actually it's not true. That didn't happen. A prankster set up the website and various newspapers report. Fair enough. I never heard that myth. Preston AI. Because why am I ragging on these members from like 13 years ago? What about Jimmy Savile? Oh my god. We are getting off topic. And it's your fault, not mine. Does anyone have the news article published by The Sun which shows a countdown of Emma Watson's 16th birthday? Does anyone else remember the website where if you correctly guessed the date Jane Goody was going to die of cancer, you could win an iPad? What the hell? What is... Do you know what? Like, you know when people get cancelled for stuff because they were tweeted out like just crazy outrageous stuff 10 plus years ago, and then people who maybe weren't around then go, oh, but I'm gonna get hot water for saying this, it was never socially acceptable to behave X way, right? And it's either people who weren't alive then, or maybe people who lived in like a little bit of a different echo chamber bubble, whatever you want to call it, because the noughties that I grew up in were savage. I can believe that someone would have done this, made a website where if you guess the date Jade Goody was going to die of cancer, you could win. I could totally believe that. The naughties were absolutely savage. That's why, people like Russell Brand and et al. Are getting in trouble now, because people just ran riot and ran amok and were offensive and were just totally savage. There was really no care about people's mental health. It wasn't really part of the conversation, especially when I was growing up. You can see in like some of the earliest episodes of The Only Way Is Essex, which I only ever watched like 3 of, but you can see in like the very first episode that Mark bloke called his on again off again girlfriend fat because she was like getting a fake tan, I want to say. So she was in her underwear and he was watching the show back. It was quite meta. And he goes, what's she doing? She looks like she's 20 stone. She looks so overweight. Literally just like, normal, average body. Just being absolutely vile. The amount of times that like the me and Chelsea boys, all of them would call girls slags or sluts or whatever whilst they were, shagging around in orgies. People were so much more savage. We've got a lot less tolerance in the 20s, 2010s and 2020s. We do have a lot less tolerance for this type of behavior, as we should. All I'm saying is yeah, it was a bit of a different time because people would do mental stuff. Like the internet that I grew up with anyway was absolutely fucking savage. Like, how boomers on Facebook, if they get into their little echo chambers, they'll just be outrageously offensive and un-PC. That was just the internet in general that I grew up with. So anyway, Emma Watson talking about her 18th birthday. I remember my 18th birthday, I came out at my birthday party and photographers laid down the pavement and took photographs up my skirt, which were then published on the front of the English tabloids newspaper the next morning. If they had published the photographs 24 hours earlier, they would have been illegal. Because I just turned 18, they were legal. That's awful for her. This also has nothing to do with the video. Oh dear. Should we go back to body? Back to body. Oh yes, that was the point. The Sun can't call anyone predatory anyway, because they used to have page 3 with like, oh, Leah, 18, from West Sussex, enjoys cream teas. I don't know. They had page 3. A source said, I bet the source is Bonnie. Bonnie has taken things way too far. She was making tens of thousands a month via OnlyFans, hundreds of thousands, mate, not tens, and now that's gone. It wouldn't be worth it if it was tens of thousands. Her page has officially been pulled. Her latest stunts have taken things too far. She's crossed the line and OnlyFans had no choice but to act. Bonnie, gotta say the B like how Draco Malfoy says Potter, Bonnie. Real name Tia Billinger, claims to earn, yes, whatever. This means the 25-year-old, sorry, hasn't she been 25 for the past like 2 years? The Sun, from a rural village in Derbyshire, would be only making, why did I say that? Would be making at least 7.2 million per year until now. The adult star has already hit headlines, should be a bodybuilder. Not like in a sex thing. Not into that. No, thank you. But like, I don't know, you know how Josh Peters did the documentary of Lily Phillips? I feel like it would just be so much more rogue and just vile and grim to do a documentary with Bonnie Blue. I reckon I should reach out. Should I? That'll be the quickest fuck off I've ever received. The adult star has already hit headlines with previous desperate stunts, including apparently breaking the world record. We know. She then challenged spring. Why can't spring? She then challenged spring break barely legal college boys to see who could give her the best. This is what I mean. If you've come and clicked on this video because you expect me to be like morally outraged, I'm just not anymore. I'm so done with it. I'm so desensitized. I am so done with everyone. I just want to laugh. I don't care anymore, man. With a pledge to pay the tuition of the winner. She is mad, isn't she? I kind of love it. An OnlyFans spokesperson said the extreme challenge content is not available on OnlyFans, is not permitted under our acceptable use policy and terms of service. Any breach of our terms of service results in content or account deactivation. The Mystic Maid, there she is, still alive. Shall we find out what my thing is in a minute? Yeah. God, look at all this. Do you know what? Let's do loads. Let's do loads of right, because I wasted all of your time with that Charlotte Church thing earlier. Let's do loads of Bonnie Blue content in this one video. Over the weekend, Bonnie axed plans to hold a meet and greet session in London in which she would be tied up in a glass box. What, like David, was it David Blaine who did that? Yeah, she was doing a David Blaine. It'd be more impressive if she did 44 days of non-stop bonking in the glass box, because he did 44 days of fasting, didn't he? After pulling the stunt, she then planned to host a graphic 24-hour live stream. Bonnie was slammed for promoting rape culture and labelled vile for announcing what she called Bonnie Blue's petting zoo. Well, do you know what? If she's dehumanising herself, who am I to tell her not to? Like, I don't care if she's doing that to herself. Should I care if she's doing that to herself? Should I? I just got bigger fish to fry, do you know what I mean? Like, I'm always late on taxes. I've got incorrect. I'm wrongfully accused right now of having debt, and debt collectors want to come raid my property because of a previous tenant. You know what I mean? I've got like bigger and real problems to care about than Bonnie Blue disrespecting herself. Explaining the sickening idea during an interview on Kat Baker's podcast, she said she was going to be naked and tied up in a glass box, which would be open for the public to do basically what they want to her. How would she go to the toilet? Maybe some people are into that. When Kat asked where the box was going to be, Bonnie continued that she would be in the centre of London, but in a house. You coward, Bonnie. Do it without the house. Making the plan to in the middle of Regent's Park. Making the planned event even more repulsive, Bonnie told Kat that she wanted to beat her own record by doing 2,000. Surely 1,500 would be the smarter thing to do, Bonnie, not heading straight for 2. Why is my phone light on? It comes just weeks after The Sun exposed Bonnie for deliberately faking an arrest in order to hit the headlines. Bonnie's video sparked a flurry of calls to the police, who were left baffled. Imagine getting that call. Bonnie was searched in the clip. She's got nice jeans, isn't she? Well, she should, for 600 grand a month. They should be All Saints jeans, not New Look. She told podcaster Kat Baker that the box will be in a house in London, despite the fact she'd like it on the back of a lorry if it wasn't illegal. Dream high, Bonnie. Spread your wings and fly. Bonnie Blue got handed a lifetime ban from Nottingham Forest Stadium. Isn't that where Robin Hood lives? Nottingham Forest. The Fox version. Surrey police confirmed to The Sun they were not involved in any incident on the Slyfield estate. Bonnie's right-hand man, documentary maker Josh Spooner, also... What? For God's sake. She's really got a documentary maker. That's so annoying. Bonnie, what's he got that I've not, besides a penis? Despite being slapped with a permanent stadium suspension by Forest in April after trying to enter the ground and pull off a viral stunt, the adult content creator then sneaked into the Chelsea away end in disguise with a cap, wig and glasses. We've got to see this. There she goes, there she blows. Oh. Yeah, you wouldn't think doesn't really look like her, does it? Bonnie was eventually found and escorted out, with footage circulating online capturing the moment. Right, so an article more about the Bonnie's petting zoo. Someone questioned why Bonnie was even being allowed to speak. Why is she being given platforms like podcasts and broadcasts to act as though she is some kind of trailblazer or icon, they rage. She is sitting there saying her next challenge is to be tied up in public so people can touch her. Another woman is sitting across from her acting like that is something worth clapping for. That alone is disgusting and degrading. This is dragging us backwards. Any woman who claps for this kind of behaviour has failed as a woman. Never been so revolted in my life. Even more shockingly, there were some comments from monstrous people saying they were keen to get inside the box with Bonnie. I'll be in the box, one boasted. God, I bet he was like, I'm going to use my psychic powers. I bet he was 48 and bold and wearing some type of football team jersey. See you there. And I've added a third question. Are girls welcome to join in too? Yikes. 25, Bonnie. I believe you. Kate Holney writes why Bonnie Blue must be banned from social media because her most recent stunt is for men to fulfill their sick desires is wrong and worrying on so many levels. Number of assaults being reported to release are a record high, with shocking 1 in 4 women, 1 in 6 children, 1 in 18 men falling victims to this horrific crime. It's alarming rise. Many believe, as I do, that the sexual assaults are fueled by access to toxic online culture, with Bonnie seemingly leading the way with her vile sex marathon stunts. Yeah, and then on the other end of it, you've got Andrew Tate deliberately goading this stuff on too. As a young woman who is a survivor of 2 assaults, aged just 13 and 23, who has been sexually harassed on countless occasions, I feel sick and enraged. In a society where abuse, violence against women, and misogyny had become a widespread pandemic, we should ban people like Bonnie from social media. Her foul and obscene challenges, which are becoming worse every time, are like a slap in the face to millions of survivors like myself. Not only are her videos a constant reminder of the pain and trauma that was forced upon us, but she also teaches perverts that women are a piece of meat, nothing else. Despite repeatedly insisting she empowers women, yes, she's such a liar. Bonnie, you're talking out your ass. Bonnie promotes a culture in which women are passed around by men like toys. She also plays into the narrative that our husbands, fathers and sons can't control their sexual urges or shouldn't have to. As a vocal multi-millionaire, Bonnie may think this is all harmless fun, paying her many assistants to keep her out of real harm's way. I don't think Bonnie like genuinely gives a shit either way. She doesn't care if women become victims of the rancid men that have sex with her. Like she just doesn't care. She's far removed from it, and she's got that narcissist gaze. Psychopath eyes. Look at her eyes, they're completely soulless. It's amazing. What is wrong with me? But in reality, the sex insatiable Bonnie is promoting a dangerous assault culture and pushing victims like myself deeper into the abyss of trauma. Her twisted antics and those of rival Lily Phillips and Annie Knight are damaging impressionable young teenage boys, half of whom have been exposed to pornography by the age of 13. Those same boys will grow up thinking this is normal, this is what women want, and this is what we're here for. So, moving on to the next one. That's bonkers. I found out my man had sex with Bonnie Blue. People say we forget those 1,000 men are real dudes that walk among us. I don't say that on my slop channel. I was just silently watching this video in which Bonnie said during the 1,000 man bonkathon, she finished 4 times in 12 hours. That is pathetic. Those men are pathetic. A young woman has been left heartbroken after allegedly discovering her now ex-boyfriend was one of more than 1,000 men who took part in Bonnie Blue's record-breaking marathon. Stevie Kennedy, who is now describing herself as a hot new bombshell of dumping her ex, claimed the partner at the time had sex with Bonnie earlier this year. I just found out my boyfriend was at Bonnie Blue's 1,000 men in 24 hours, never talking to a male again. This is your sign to go through his phone. I found out my boyfriend of 5 years cheated on me with Bonnie Blue. He was one of the 1,000 men in 24 hours. We were planning to get married. I usually respect privacy, but I had a bad feeling. I don't reckon it was the first time he did it. Come on. The brunette claimed she had a bad feeling that her boyfriend at the time was being unfaithful, so decided to go for his phone, and she was devastated to discover the truth. In a short clip that has since gone viral, Stevie filmed herself holding back tears and shaking her head as she got candid on her boyfriend's alleged infidelity. The TikTok clip has left many open-mouthed as it has quickly racked up 6.8 million views. Social media users were horrified by the woman's claims. Many eagerly rushed to the comments to share their thoughts about the situation, with numerous users advising her to get tested and sue her ex-partner. One person said, "I would never feel clean ever again." Another added, "Cheating is bad enough, but cheating in that way is insane. Hope you're okay." Third commented, "Coming from a man, if he did that, you're better off without him." Meanwhile, someone else wrote, "Sue him for endangering your health. Your prince is out there. Be glad you found out before the wedding instead of after." True, not in this, but one woman advised, get tested immediately. At the same time, another user sighed, "I forget these 1,000 dudes are real people that walk among us. This is the most chilling fact of all." Now let's have a little break and look and see what my horoscope is. Aquarius should be first. Maybe the actions or reactions of a group make no sense right now, but your chart suggests a breakthrough on the horizon, so try to stay involved for now. But set a deadline for when you need to see some movement. Prizes with a J connection and passion that starts with a joke can both brighten your day. What a load of nothing. Thanks for nothing, Mr. Meg. I was with Bonnie Blue during one of her stunts. What I saw left me going to therapy. I was so traumatized. A Bop House member, an adult content creator, Bop House is literally that house full of OnlyFans girlies, has revealed she regrets filming with Bonnie Blue. Julia Filippo, who is just 22, revealed she filmed with the disgraced blonde. Disgraced blonde is crazy. She didn't go into detail on the event that was filmed. She revealed she was by her side the whole time to support Bonnie by brushing her hair and hydrating her through the stunt. In a recent podcast, she said she was now doing therapy. In the clip, Julia asked Camilla if she regretted not coming to the event with her. Camilla said, "I don't regret it. I think everything happens for a reason, but I'm happy you made a check. I wish we could have. But at the same time, you're in therapy for a reason because what you saw traumatized you. I'm so glad I got to spare my soul and mind of that." In another clip, Julia admitted regretting joining Bonnie Blue. "If you see a clip of me, I'm actually freaking out the whole time," she said. "I do regret it. I love her to death." Why? Literally why? "And our managers, but I'm so traumatized." Right, they didn't say what it was, so let's find out what it was. The clip of Julia's interview received a barrage of comments from concerned fans. One person wrote, "I feel so bad for Julia. Yes, she agreed to it, but she probably didn't realise what she'll be watching. She's only young. I hope the girl makes peace with it." If she's only young, right? maybe she shouldn't be doing this content in the first place. Do you know what I mean? Maybe. Okay, so a couple months ago, Bonnie Blue teamed up with Julia to create the videos in a challenge she called the biggest gangbang in history. Bonnie explained she was live streaming a group event put on her OnlyFans. I'm going to do an event with lots of people, a 100-man live stream event, she said at the time. Julia was kindly selected to take part with Bonnie. She shared a picture of herself and Bonnie there, and Bonnie added, "Thank you for coming, beautiful. You might not have known much about Julia before this, but she's also an OnlyFans model, has over 700,000 followers on Instagram. She's a TikToker with 3 million followers. Teaching Julia how to..." I think I saw TikToks about this at the time, actually. Teaching Julia how to lose her innocence, because I think her thing on OnlyFans is trying to look as like young and innocent as possible. It's something a bit rogue and weird like that. "Call me," but I don't know enough to really comment on it. "Call me Miss Bonnie Blue," Bonnie said in the caption of one video of them hanging out with the guys before the event. Yes, see, look, the pigtails and the little like baby blue thing and like the face and whatever. The face, this is just her face. Yeah. But you know what I mean? She's trying to look as young as possible, and this is just threatening all these blokes. Absolutely grim, the state of the world. So Julia says that this is what traumatized her. But she admitted she earned upwards from £700,000 for filming with Bonnie Blue. She called it her best month yet financially. So there you have it, guys. That's a big old update on Bonnie Blue. Do you think that she actually is banned from OnlyFans? Or maybe they're fake banning her to try and get more. Maybe it's like a new stunt. I don't know anymore. I don't know. Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. For today's video, I thought we could continue looking at Bonnie Blue because Bonnie Blue went on the Metro. Yeah, Bonnie Blue went onto the Metro. I did a video about her, I want to say a week ago. I don't know, time don't reel. She is an OnlyFans. Don't really want to use the word star. She's an OnlyFans person who brags about sleeping with barely legal teens. So she did an interview with the Metro and I thought we could just react to that today. I've not actually decided, this is a long time coming. I have a sort of like 19th century Russian novelist approach to sex. I find it base. I find it a scene of grotesque buffoonery. The narrator says that in The Brothers Karamazov. This scene of grotesque buffoonery. It's my new catchphrase. I'm going to put it on merch. I do not find it interesting. It's literally just biology. Who cares, mate? And God. Also, you can't believe it every time that someone says to you, you know, a compliment. Because if you're going to believe your own hype all the time, then you're going to believe every single like horrible thing if you're in the public eye, you read about yourself. So really, there's no point. And maybe assurance should come from within rather than the external. Can't prove they exist after all. God, I hope none of this actually exists. I'm really worried when I say that kind of stuff now. I sound like Russell Brand. I've disowned him a long time ago. Ate him. Should say that without sounding like I've co-opted his accent though. Did she just repeat herself or did I go backwards? I wasn't paying attention. Did you? Because I recall in your other one with Saving Grace saying that you'd been with some bloke for 10 years since you were like 13 allegedly. I don't really believe that. Because I don't believe the timeline of events that she gives connoting to her age. But I swear before that she said that she'd only slept with like a couple of people, and now she's trying to give off that, oh no, I was sleeping around like well loads and then I did it. What is the truth, Bonnie? Let's look within. Did I mention that if it was a bloke being, and I hate you, in the last video I already said, so I'm not going to go over it again, but I don't like really using the whole if the genders were reversed, because look at the last video to see my logic on that. But if it was a bloke being like barely legal, yeah, going around college campuses trying like shag virgins, I don't think the Metro would platform them. I really don't feel that would be the case. Anyway, comfortable salary, 10 grand a month. Shut up. Think it's important to note the part where she said, oh, like it's so scripted online and I wanted it to be more real, because I think it loops around later into being a scene of grotesque buffoonery. Good to who? By what moral standard is preying on virgins at the tender age of definitely not 25 a good thing? Don't really trust you to be the moral police. What's your stance on fair and vegetarianism, I wonder? Ha! What's Bonnie Blue think about climate change? Give her the chance to respond again. If it was a geezer, would we be giving him the chance to respond? No, I don't think the Metro would. Doesn't mean it should be, though. I'll just say it. I'm not going to click on any video that has teen in the title. No, thank you. So, I feel like you're skirting around a technicality there. Money to be made off of bonking virgins. Then they're not getting a cut of it, are they? It's not very nice of you, Bonnie. Also, I guess there is the argument that, yeah, they might agree to do it whilst they're 18 and then maybe regret it later on because 18-year-olds are horny idiots. I think she doesn't show that. I'm pretty sure she doesn't show their faces. But still, I'm sure like some of them might have some birthmarks or be kind of recognisable. So they might regret it in 10 years' time now that it's up on the internet forever. Can you tell how bothered I am about memory? That's bad, sorry. Oh my god, you're so business-minded. It was basically a social experiment a la Nikocado Avocado, which I don't find this impressive and I don't find it, oh my god, like amazing business savvy, because anyone can go and act in whatever attention-seeking way they want. Like I said in the last video, I used to be a pretty big attention seeker in my early 20s. Kind of regret it now because it's a bit embarrassing. That's what the 20s are for, I suppose. Not her 20s though, because they were 10 years ago. I'm not sorry. My point is, anyone can act extremely or attention seeking and then get attention. I don't believe it's good business sense to do so. Short-term gratification, long-term, whatever happened to integrity? Oh no, I think I'm swinging into the I actually love her category. Like, babe, you're being called a predator. So maybe stop doing the thing that's causing people to call you a predator. They're calling me predator anyway, so I might as well just double down and do the thing that makes me look like a predator. Oh my god, I kind of love her. Babe, should we joking. What do you mean there's been no uproar? Have you heard of... I've swung back round, now I think you're an idiot. Have you ever heard of feminism? There's like entire subgenres within feminism that are just against porn and OnlyFans. Full stop. Full stop. Against the commodification of women's bodies. Full stop. Now, I'm not completely against porn. Oh, what a bold statement. There's also a lot of adult websites that are now being made for women by women in reaction to the other companies that may be exploitative. In fact, I spoke to someone once who used to work at the Hub and told me that they had to implement an ID verification system, I think because there was like revenge videos being put up or whatever. There's now an ID system to make sure that people are of age and yada yada. It's all above board. And that's in reaction to people complaining about this stuff in the first place, Bonnie. Like, there is backlash against... Like, there's huge backlash. It's a bit like how people like Onision, remember him, try to infantilize their partners because it's some type of kink. Oh, don't kink shame. I'll do what I want. If you're fantasizing about your partner being a little baby in a diaper, not saying Onision does that, but like there's a type of person, right? There's backlash against these things, rightly so. So what are you talking about? What are you talking about? I wouldn't go as far as calling you an educator, darling. Well, the other one's just acting, which I suppose is murky waters, but there's a reason why a lot of adult stars are just failed actors, right? The other one's just acting, whereas you are actually... Is it worse to be 40 and act as though you're 19 for an adult scene than it is to be 40 and bonking freshly turned 18-year-olds? I think both are weird, but one is probably worse. Yeah, but you don't use a condom for oral sex and you're doing it literally like 100 to 200 times every 2 weeks, but you're only getting tested every 2 weeks. So your mouth might be a health hazard, babe. Go to the dentist. Would that be bad for the enamel? We should do a study on that with Bonnie. It is too much. Would that wear away your enamel? Go to the dentist and then let me know, Bonnie. Like, yeah, other adult stars do get tested. That's, well known. But you're lying about the whole freshers thing because you said on the other podcast that you don't for oral sex. So what is true? What's the... And again, I said in the last video, I'm going to say it again. Anyone who queues up for 8 hours straight just to have 2 minutes with Bonnie, because you get 2 minutes or double it and give it to the next person, still funny, is not a high value man, isn't boyfriend or husband material. I fear that this wasn't the question, Bonnie. The question is, it's going to be online forever. They're making this rash decision at the age of 18 years old. Maybe they're going to regret it. That's the question, not whether they're fully consenting to it, because I'm sure they are. And the whole consent form thing is a consent for the media to be. You can't really have like a sexual consent form, because that would be awful. I've had this conversation with someone the other day. It would be such a awful can of worms if you had to sign a little contract with someone before you had sex with them, because you can redact consent at any moment, even during sex. And people should respect that if suddenly you're not into it anymore. So whatever. I'm actually glad to hear, because I wasn't sure about that in the last one, that there is security on the door because she put her address online, so random men just come to. So I'm glad that there is security and she's thought that through. What about it is she's so smug. Like this still image that I've got of her face right now, I'm going to take a picture of it. She's so smug. What about it isn't a safe environment? It's not about the environment being unsafe. It's about them regretting it when they're not an 18-year-old hormonally driven idiot. Like, imagine them being 31 and getting married, and then their wife like comes across them whimpering for 2 minutes in an OnlyFans video. Yeah, 100%. Really? Because if it was 100%, you wouldn't be doing it. She had, like, of course she brought up so if the law was 16, the age of consent in the UK is 16, but that means like other 16-year-olds or 17-year-olds can have sex with each other. It's not for 20-year-olds to be banging 16-year-olds. Though Ruby on Main Chelsea was like 15 when she started dating Rez, who was 24, I want to say at the time. Yikes. We don't talk about that enough on Made in Chelsea. So if the age of consent was 14, or 16, is 14 in some countries. If it was 14, does that mean you'd bonk 14-year-olds, Bonnie? If you have to hinge on a technicality, I feel like you've already lost and you're kind of disgusting. Is that because you're actually 40, so you don't really understand social media? Always again with the middle-aged women, isn't it? You misogynist. What about all the blokes that are calling you like some pretty rough names? I've seen it. It exists. What about all those blokes? You're going to go for them? Go for their next? No, it's always the middle-aged women. Bonnie, you're a middle-aged woman. Like, yeah, an 18-year-old bloke isn't going to sign up to her OnlyFans and be like, oh, this is real educational content. I'm going to do my A-levels in this. We think it's creepy when older men try to educate young women in the ways of sex. We view that as creepy, and rightly so. Do you guys remember Charlotte Church? She went on, I don't want to say the name of the bloke because I can't remember who it was, so I don't want to unfairly lambast someone. But there was a comedian who was much older than her. I think Charlotte Church had a talk show, or maybe the comedian. I think Charlotte Church had a talk show, and she had this guy on, and she was like, do you remember when I was about to turn 16 and you offered to take my virginity? And they played it off for laughs, whereas now would look at that and go, oh, that's weird. So I feel like this whole, but I'm just like nurturing and I'm pleasuring them and I'm showing them and I'm teaching them the young, innocent, puerile youth. And it's a good thing. It would, yes, be very creepy if a bloke was doing that to girls, as it kind of is. Also, to go back to her previous point of if you don't like it, go bang on Parliament. So you're incapable of making any moral or ethical decisions by yourself without having an authoritative figure tell you otherwise. That's what I'm hearing from that. You sheep, you clone. Is there any human spirit in you? Is there a spark of individuality or individual thought within that blonde head of yours? I just don't respect anyone that has to bring laws into it, because Anishan would do that. He'd be like, well, it's fine that I shagged Shiloh when she was 16 because we deliberately went to a state where it was legal for us to do so, even though in her home state it would have been illegal. Like, I don't respect it, because it just says to me that you can't really you're either depending on legality to get you out, aka technicalities, or you can't make any real informed decisions by yourself. You need a daddy to tell you what to do, how to think, how to feel. Well, technically it's legal, yeah, but morals and ethics ain't, you know, that that sign ain't legality. If morals and ethics had anything to do with the law, it wouldn't be legal for people to drink, but it would be legal for people to smoke weed. I guess you're going to have to respect these laws. I just got a text from one of my editors. Bonnie Blue has been banned from Fiji after taking a controversial sex tour to the Pacific holiday island. So she's been banned from entering Australia and she's been kicked out of Fiji. Are you going to respect those laws, babe? You're going to have to respect them, aren't you? What a shame. I know, I'm the problem. Who am I to judge what turns people on or whatever? I think we're allowed to kink shame some things. So again, she's just got no real thoughts bouncing around in that head of hers. I think she rehearsed a lot of, well, she did rehearse a lot of this because she's been on the podcast rounds. Usually things are that deep. You would know if you ever had a deep thought within your life. Why it might be deep that old men are jacking off to barely legal virgins. You might consider why it could be that deep. Simple as that. People who say simple as that are stupid. This podcast, this video is such a roller coaster of emotions. It's like, oh, I think she's funny. Oh, I quite like her. No, she's stupid. Yada yada. I've just always found, like, if you're arguing with someone online and they're like, end of, simple, things rarely are so simple. Spoken truly like someone preying upon teenagers, innit? They shouldn't be that pathetic. God, she's awful, isn't she? She's awful. The men are worse, but she still has her part to play in this. She's still awful too. Is it interesting? Mushrooms are interesting. Elon Musk being cringe is vaguely interesting. You know, proof that money absolutely can never make you cool. Is this interesting? Not really. Again, scenes of grotesque buffoonery come to mind. Oh, she now has security. I mean, you should have had security before. Again, like, how are you so blindly trusting of these blokes? You are pathetic. You're absolutely pathetic. Like, the seeking, like, even seeking negative feedback is still a form of seeking external validation. She can't just be happy within herself. Like, do your thing, but what are you trying to prove and to who? Like, why are you living to prove faceless person XYZ wrong? I'm sure if she sees this, it'll be like, well, it'll be to prove you wrong. But I don't, like, once I've done this video, unless there's anything else that makes me laugh about her, I'm not really going to do content on her again. Like, because I just don't care that much. Like, it's funny to poke fun at because of the grotesque buffoonery for like a few minutes, like half an hour, and then I'm just going to go on with my life. And she's not going to, you know, like, rent free up here. I'd actually respect it more if she said, maintained she's doing it completely for the money, rather than I'm going to show people wrong, because it's just kind of like pathetic, dude. Even when I've been like told off for maybe being a bit too OTT on here or being an idiot in the past or whatever, I don't care about proving people wrong. It's got nothing to do with me, really. I don't know them. I wouldn't care about proving anyone wrong in my real life. I don't care. And I'm going to sleep with your son. You're quite grim and a predator, for sure. And also just quite malicious as well. She would have been a mean girl in school that 100% would have bitched about you. 100%. Yeah, just not a nice person, Bonnie. Maybe you should work on that instead. I think the fact that like some of them are queuing for hours just to bonk an OnlyFans worker shows how immature they are, shows how hormonally driven they are, shows how they're not rationally thinking. It's a tiny bit similar to like people that queue up for hours just to get a new iPhone, innit? Like, they're not rationally thinking either. So kind of proves the point that they're not mature enough really to be signing up for having themselves exposed online in a sex tape forever, or until the servers that contain all the internet break down and they were back to like the 70s. Shut up, Bonnie. Again, why is she in the background going, yeah, exactly. She's not thinking. There's not a thought rattling around in that head of hers. So you're giving them the girlfriend experience, are you? A, I don't think you are, because you're kind of like teaching them and like nurturing them apparently. And B, like you shouldn't falsify sexual relations with someone or like blur the lines in that way, because then you give rise to men who genuinely think that strippers actually like them and are being nice to them. Bonnie, keep it consistent. Come on, man. They get to have a fleeting experience with you, and that's going to enable them to be less lonely when you've left to go bonk other people. How? Doesn't make any sense. And she's so smug, and yet there isn't a soul or a thought behind those eyes. Does anyone else think that some people just look as though they don't have a soul behind their eyes? I'm not spiritual. I don't believe in a soul, but I do think there is something about the human condition. Some people have it, some people don't. Some people truly don't, just don't have that spark. She don't. The eyes are dull, glazed, like a Krispy Kreme donut. But she was doing schoolies in Australia, and they said it could be even younger. The legal age for consensual sex varies between 16 and 17 across Australia. Wait, why am I touching wood? What's that thing you're meant to say? Allegedly. She's allegedly, definitely bonked a 16-year-old, isn't she? There's no fucking way she's not. Because after all, it's the law, and the law must be right because I can't think for myself of morals and ethics and blah, blah, blah. You're okay. No, not okay. Well, you're dumb then if you don't understand the consequences, and this is your job. Like, this is your job. And she just said they probably understand the consequences better than I do of having sex online. Well, you're an idiot then. What? That's hilarious. Well, she's already been blocked, isn't she? Change.org. Let me sign it. Not because I care that much, just because I'm going to be a chaotic neutral. I don't give a shit about if she can't go on holiday. Prohibit Bonnie Blue and Annie Knight from participating in schoolies. Who's Annie Knight? There's another one. They target young men aged 17 to 18. Yeah, she's definitely bonked. 16-year-old, isn't she? Christ. In the topic human trafficking on change.org, there's one about Bonnie, and it's just above Andrew Tate. I mean, this isn't good company to be in, is it, Bonnie? Remove a platform for Bonnie Blue, Annie Knight, and Lillian Phillips. Giving women like Bonnie Blue a platform contributes to violence against women and girls. So they're OnlyFans creators, but more so predators. We need a ban because they're making everyone else on OnlyFans look bad, basically. Schoolies is a week-long holiday for Year 12 graduating students in Australia, generally 17 to 18-year-olds. Funny she keeps saying 18, though. Done it. She keeps saying 18, but legally in Australia in some places, like, it's 16, 17. So you're definitely bonking 17-year-olds, aren't you? Because by her own logic, legally, it's fine. If you don't like it, call on Parliament, whatever. So she's definitely only just saying 18 because she knows it doesn't look good. Christ. Anyway, let's go back to the video. She says all this, but the position I just saw didn't say anything about that. It just said, we don't like that these people are going on about sleeping with barely legal teenagers. Didn't say about the drink and drug stuff. So, straw man, ain't ya? Know the law better than the police. Shall we not open that can of worms, babe? Right, okay, but you're not a girl. You're a woman. And you're not 24. What's your point? Yes, she is. Where's the birth certificate? Well, even then, if you're 24, you're not a girl, you're a woman. So, I don't think you're that happy either if you're constantly seeking external validation, Bonnie. Maybe you are happy, but it's in a really superficial way because you're making lots of money. Anyway. Like, I don't think she's going to be that happy to be banned from Fiji and Australia. If it was coming from my target audience, I've seen men calling you some very rude things, Bonnie, so nix that straight away. Secondly, you absolute pick me. If it's coming from my target audience, which is men, you little pick me. You awful, awful, awful pick me. Stop living for the validation of men. It's really kind of embarrassing. Well, I guess it's embarrassing to people who actually do have deeper thoughts. So I guess Bonnie's fine. How dare you? You see how much porn I watch? I'm keeping the whole industry upheld. Well, I actually had a video once on here where I watched, not the OnlyFans stuff, because those are still up. I watched an adult video, but I took it down because, you know, YouTube are retroactively deciding to get you in trouble for content you might have put up X amount of years ago. It was the Hub's, like, filthiest. I did a video watching and reviewing it. So, in your face, Bonnie, I'm just as much a profligate as you. Except not really, because I know words like profligate and you don't. Babe, like, Ted Bundy had fans. I don't think that's a good indicator of how moral or virtuous you are as a human being, if you have fans or not. I'm being a bit extreme again, but You know, plenty of contentious and really awful people have strong fans. I mean, did I not say that she was like one above in the change.org on human trafficking above Andrew Tate? The Andrew Tate one had more signings, but I mean, like, it came up, her one came up first, her and the other girls. He has loads of fans. You're not going to say he's not doing stuff that's... Do you know what I mean? Though that's a more of an extreme example because it's human trafficking. But horny men are often seen as the moral arbiters of our time. Logically, it's too early days. It's too... Sorry. If I was her and trying to defend myself, would I be making these same arguments? Nah, I reckon I'll go about it better because I'm smarter. Anyway. No, I have to give her props. It sounds like from that, she actually understands what POV means. If you notice that on TikTok, people don't understand what point of view means. Point of view, you're at a bookstore and blah, 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 or whatever. So she actually knows what POV means. I will give her that. Maybe it's because she's so wise in her age. Imagine going with your mates to queue up to have 2 minutes with Bonnie Blue. What a strange bonding experience. But it's like going to a strip club, really, with your mates, because it's like you're just a group of lads, generally, going to a place where you're all going to simultaneously get a boner. We should say that to the straight men who go to strip clubs. Like, so you're going to the room where you and your friends, male friends, all get boners together, huh, guys? Wonder where that ranks on the Kinsey scale. See, I said that in the last video. I said she's just rage baiting. But still, it's like, okay, it's like on Made in Chelsea, yeah? Spencer Matthews was such a villain. And some people are like, oh, but it was just all acted. And it's like, yeah, but you're acting on a reality TV show. So people are going to see that persona and think that's who you are in real life. So whether you're playing the villain or being the villain kind of ends up being the same thing in the end. And neither of those things are good when you're on a bridge being like, you allow me to cheat on you. You can kind of see where I was coming, how I attached that to this. Wait, so they Metro did a bit of journalism for once in their life instead of just looking at Reddit threads and making articles about that. The dads and sons videos, or like some dads being a builder or whatever, roll the tape back, was fake. But she was saying at the beginning she wants it all to be authentic. Bonnie. But you were complaining about that being inauthentic, so what is it? Bonnie. What if it said infant school girl? Would you dress up as that as well? Because, you know, technically, if it's legal and if it's allowed on Pornhub, OnlyFans, what's the issue? That's the thing. She doesn't have any individual thoughts. She can't work out if something's an issue or not. She needs someone else to tell her. And if OnlyFans are okay with it, then what's the limit? Who are we to judge? Who are we to judge? Who are we to judge anyone doing anything? Really? We should just never judge anyone for doing anything ever again. Who are we to judge if people want to discriminate? Who are we to judge if 50-year-old blokes want to groom 16-year-olds? Who are we to really judge? Yeah, but anyone with a brain isn't going to be like queuing up for 8 hours straight just to have like 2 minutes with that'll go online forever. So, my goodness, you are not a holiday or a 5-star hotel, babe. You are not a trip to Las Vegas. I really want to go to Las Vegas, that's why I said that. Is it as deep as it is, though? Because, and I know this is going to wind some people up by me saying it, but hypersexuality can be a sign of trauma. It can be a reaction to something. So is it always... I'm sure, like, well, there are plenty of porn stars that have, like, a healthy attitude towards sex and it's just their job. Oh, please, she's backtracking hard now. Like, that's not what you were saying before, babe, you weirdo, you propagator of rape culture. She's backtracking. She doesn't... This is performative. She doesn't actually mean that. She doesn't actually mean, oh, well, women, like, their consent matters too. Because she said throughout this entire thing, the only people she really cares about is men. So what does she actually care if women are consensually, fully consenting to having sex or not? But if you have to shag your partner, whether you want to or not, just to stop them from straying, they're going to stray inevitably anyway. Like, it's a two-way street of respect. And also, like, some blokes don't care about sex as much as, like, what she's pretending they do. I'm not going to air anyone out. It's all anonymous. I got some mates who are going through some very long dry spells. Like, longer than you'd think. Like, not everyone is as obsessed with something as base as sex. She's done her research. She's actually done her research. This video did come out after I did my one. No, before I did my first one, actually. She's done her research. Right, props to this journo. Who are you? I like you more than I like Bonnie. As if women don't work too, Bonnie. Shut up, you idiot. Why, though? And why is the onus on the wife? Like I said in my previous video, maybe the blokes completely let themselves go. Maybe the bloke's idea of sex is just in, out, they're done, and the wife doesn't orgasm. Maybe their idea of foreplay is ordering a pizza. Like, how about the men stay looking fit and bouncing back from the baby weight or the pub weight? And they should stay emotionally connected and doing the date nights and doing the things. And if you're doing all of that and it's just still not working out, just end it rather than cheat. And if it's since the children thing, is the bloke doing everything they can to help out the child? Because the amount, I can flip this on its head, and the amount of posts on Reddit about blokes who do nothing when the child comes along, but then expect like their wives to be having sex with them within like a month of giving birth. If you want confirmation bias on whatever your agenda is, you can find it and seek it. She wants confirmation bias that she's doing a good thing for these blokes and enabling them to cheat on their wives, and it's somehow moral. She's looking for her confirmation bias, she's finding it, but there's a whole other story on the other side that she's not looking at and she's refusing to. Does she not want to accept, like, she is a misogynist, and I think she should just be willing to accept that title. If not, then just stop saying misogynistic things and stop being an idiot. There's cognitive dissonance going on here with her, I think. Like, you're just a sexist, babe, and they're living off their husbands. Well, not if it's a joint decision. See, she just has this ire for women. She just hates women. She's a misogynist. When's that going to be a hate crime? Do you reckon she'd stop being a misogynist if it was an actual hate crime and you'd get into legal trouble for it? Because she respects the law above morality or ethics. Well, sex between two consenting adults in a relationship full of trust and love shouldn't be viewed as work. So maybe because sex is your job, your perspective on it is a bit skewed. But then, no, there are loads of, like, I disagree with myself. There are plenty of porn stars who seem really cool fucking people, actually. I think the issue is just her. Look after the kids is a completely different, it's a completely different fucking conversation, you absolute moron. You absolute moron. Like, if a bloke takes two to tango to create a child, so a bloke, no matter their sexual status, should be helping to bring up the child. Like, no matter what. If two people have decided to bring sentient life into this world, then two people, man, women, man, whatever it is, if you've decided that's what you want to do, then both of you need to be sharing it. You don't get to clock off being a parent just because you're not getting your willy sucked. Not if they're being controlled as well. Again, she has no sympathy for women, but all the sympathy for, let's be real, ugly men. It's never lookers, is it? It's never lookers going out to the pub and like blah blah blah. No, like attractive people go to the pub. That's not what I'm saying. I know what I'm saying. It's going to be taken out of context. No, I don't care because it will just upset men anyway. I don't give a shit. Yeah, but you're trying to influence by going on all of these podcasts and saying your opinions, because otherwise if you weren't trying to influence, then you just wouldn't be doing that. You'd just be getting on with your job. Also, she does like what I do in a day content. I saw it on TikTok, not on TikTok, on Instagram. So you are kind of trying to be a bit of an influencer. We're on the same wavelength. Who are you? Let's be mates. Let's go for a coffee. If you enjoyed it and you did it for yourself, then you wouldn't have to put it out publicly, would you? But you're trying to be an influencer. You're just not. You wouldn't speak so simply if you were. She has a nice accent, and I think people conflate the two at times, but no. You're not intelligent. And the whole, like, her working in recruitment before, I feel like she was an MLM girly. She would so be 60 banging 18-year-olds if she could. You're just gross. I'm bored of this now. There's only 2 minutes left, and I don't think she's going to say anything groundbreaking. I'm bored of this now. That is all for today's video. Bonnie Blue is just annoying, and she's not a nice person. You can really tell. It really pops out. She's a misogynist. She's just a mean girl, really. I genuinely can't tell if I look like a clown right now. Speaking of clowns, that's the topic of today's video. So, hello, welcome back to my channel. Like, comment, subscribe, whatever. For today's video, I thought we could do a bit of a podcast reacting, yeah? Because a podcast has been doing the rounds recently and it's got a lot of people upset. So, let's just see what the fuss is about. I already know what the fuss is about, and I already have formulated my own opinion about it. So the podcast in question is the Saving Grace podcast. Grace has also recently platformed James Charles, so I don't know who's next on the agenda. Gary Glitter? Prince Andrew? Just weird. Lot of company you've been keeping recently, Grace. Not my demographic, not my thing. I'll try to be, the positive big Alizee you all know and love. She had an OnlyFans worker on there called Bonnie Blue, and some of the stuff that Bonnie Blue was saying, questionable. Now, I've just searched it, so I can react in real time. That's how it works. And I've just seen the Metro have put up an hour-long interview with her. Metro did an article interviewing Bonnie as well, and I just have to say, I hate pulling the if the genders were reversed card, because you see a lot of if the genders were reversed and this was happening to girls, about someone being murdered or something, there'd be an uproar, there'll be an outcry, and it's well, no, because that stuff does happen to women and girls on a daily basis, and there's not really that much of an uproar once in a while if people are feeling generous, But I do genuinely think in this situation, if the genders were reversed and it was a man who was being accused of being predatory towards young, barely legal, hers not mine, women, the Metro wouldn't be jumping to interview them. A few male sex offenders just sprung to mind, and no, the Metro hasn't interviewed them. Why don't we just get on with the original one, the Saving Grace podcast? I'll try and be nice. Why should I be nice to Grace? Because she's only 25, 24. I should be no one was nice to me when I was that age. People were horrible to me, and that's why I am the bitter person I am to this day. So why should I be nice to her? Whatever. Who am I shadowboxing? Who am I arguing with? Let's just get on with it. Bonnie Blue reveals what really happened in Freshers Week, how much she makes in a year, and more. I was going to be mean, but actually I'm going to wait until Bonnie starts talking, because then when I am mean, no one will have a go at me for being the one that's being mean, because I won't have started it. Grace, can you shut up for more than 10 seconds, please? I'm clearly the one that's in the wrong, by the way, because it's a podcast with 500,000 subscribers, so, what the fuck do I know? But is it not irritating for anyone else? Someone's talking and then someone's been yeah. Because, I know it's part of, trying to be an active listener, but it's not the point. It's not the point. Not the point of this video. Carry on. Now that I've pointed out, though, it's all you guys are going to be able to hear. I mean, it's hilarious that she doesn't think that she's interesting. I'd agree. I already know a lot about this interview, right? I'm not just being bitchy. I already know a lot of, what she says. Yeah. But it at least there is a level of self-awareness there. She knows she's not interesting enough to be able to just go into OnlyFans and expect to have a following without some attention-seeking antics, which is what this is. I think of a disclaimer. Disclaimer, I do believe majority of what she says is just rage bait, and she doesn't really believe what she's saying, but I'm a conspiracy theorist. No. Well, yes. I think that about pretty much most extreme people in media. I don't think Piers Morgan really believes a lot of the waffle that comes out of his own mouth. I do think Elon Musk believes everything he says, but he's another moron. Yeah, I said it. I called a billionaire a moron. Get a grip. Bonnie says and does a lot of things for the attention to drive people towards her OnlyFans, because without that, she's basically interchangeable between her and several other blonde UK OnlyFans models that I know of. There's a good 3 or 4 other ones who are basically a little bit interchangeable with her aesthetically. So she is aware that she needs to say a whole bunch of crazy crap for people to give her any attention. She can't do it of her own merit, which then people inaccurately say, oh, but that's a good business mind to say crazy crap to get attention, because then you make money. And it's yeah, in the short term, but what's the long term plan of that? Some people can say crazy crap and continuously make money and get work, but bites a lot of people in the arse ultimately. I mean, I tried being an attention seeker in my early 20s and it just wasn't, there's no real dignity in doing so. Christ, look at Azealia Banks. Every day she's saying some, I'm a bit worried that I've said her name now because she might appear behind me and try and murder me. It's like Bloody Mary. She's always saying crazy crap on Twitter, and as a result of it, nobody wants to work with her now. Even controversial people don't want to work with her anymore. So in the short term, yeah, I know we're not even in it yet and I'm just talking. I should have a podcast. Oh wait, I did, and it flopped. I hate this new get your bag sis at any cost Because again, what's the long-term ramifications of what you're doing? Like, I do think you've got to have a little bit of integrity. Is that rich coming from a YouTuber? Who knows? Let's continue. Well, that's jumping in the deep end. I was thinking it was like 30 people. Sorry. Do you know what was the most upsetting part for me? Whilst I was doing my makeup, you know, to make myself look like a clown for this, I was listening to an audiobook of an essay concerning human understanding by John Locke, which I love that he said it's an essay, but it's like 500 pages. Philosophers were the tea, drama, and video essayists of their time period. Anyway, it's just very upsetting for me that I'm inflicting this brain rot upon myself. And when I fail all of my exams, I'm going to be blaming these two. Wow. We all know you're not a girl's girl. Which, here's the thing, the inner pick me is going to come out. I am sort of a boy girl. I think I've got a boy brain and a girl body. I hate to say it, but I do find it easier most of the time to talk to blokes. I find it easier to ascertain where I stand with them. I think the social dynamics for me are just, you know, I don't really question. It's a whole thing that I would have to unwrap another time in a therapy session. But I've like grown up basically predominantly being friends with boys. My close mates are mostly boys. I've only ever really lived with boys, that type of thing. So I don't particularly consider myself a girl's girl in the typical sense of I don't have like a dedicated girl group that I could go to brunch with. It's just not really my vibe, right? But other women are not the enemy. I wish I had a little bit more female influence in my life, I really do, because boys are stupid. But in saying all of that, I don't view other women as the enemy. I don't view other women as competition, as Bonnie does. We'll get to it. Fresh 18-year-olds is a crazy thing to say. By the way, I'm just going to bring this up now. Bonnie Blue is allegedly 24/25 because Grace is the same age. Dear audience, do you really think in your heart of hearts she's 24? I don't believe it. I know that my opinion doesn't mean anything because I'm a woman, so I'm basically a non-entity to someone like Bonnie. I asked my male friends, how old do you think this woman is?
You have to get old up to a point, but that's ridiculous.
Rachel did a bit of sleuthing. She's going to put in her own video. Spoiler alert. And she discovered that allegedly Bonnie is actually 27. I just don't believe that she's 24. You could never... I want to see the birth certificate. Is that insensitive to say? Because he just won? Whatever, not the point. People about Bonnie saying freshly 18 and like barely legal and whatever, blokes already defending her being like, well, it's legal, so who cares? It's icky, so it's legal, as if legality means fucking anything. Like, who cares about the law? But I believe that she is fully lying about her age, and she's 27 or older, lying about her age just to make it sound a little bit better, that she's bonking 18-year-old virgins. Furthermore, I've seen some people say, this is totally unverified though, and I'm not going to check, that there was an OnlyFans documentary a few years ago, and Bonnie appeared on it then and said that she was in her 30s. So whether she's 27 or in her 30s, I'm not sure, but I don't believe, and you will never make me believe, that she is 24. I'm going to open my door to them, and Grace just goes, of course you're going to open your door to men you don't know. Grace, are you dumb? I feel like she's such a sweetheart of so many people. I don't give a fuck, because I don't really watch Liv and Grace, obviously. I've seen a lot of the comments being like, Grace has a problem never being able to disagree with her guests. But even this is pretty brain dead to be like, yeah, of course you'd open your door to strange men you don't know. What could possibly go wrong? I can't believe we're less than 5 minutes into this and I've been yapping. I'm sure none of them are ever going to regret doing this. I would never date someone who'd queued 8 hours to shag someone. It's just pathetic. This is why we haven't conquered space yet. Not that we should, but still. Her likening herself to One Direction is wild. Of course, yeah. What do you know, Grace? Why am I being so aggy towards Grace and not to Bonnie? I think because I don't take Bonnie seriously at all. I think she's rage baiting. I think she's a joke. So I just kind of refuse to take her seriously. So she's not getting on my nerves because it's just whatever. That is so pathetic. Sorry, it's so pathetic. Not me roasting 18-year-olds instead of roasting this clearly in her late 20s or 30s woman for shagging them. No, I'm the one in the wrong, sorry. What an enlightening thought, Grace. Yes, that's a huge thing to do if you're a virgin. The first time you're going to lose your virginity is bonking. That's going to go on OnlyFans and you've been queuing up. That's a crazy thing to do. And do you know what? I'm going to start throwing this back at men because I've fed up. A type of man who does that, because I've seen men be like, oh yeah, but it's just a laugh though, like none of those boys are going to feel taken advantage of because it's just a laugh. Well, do you know what, fine, let's assume that not one of them out of the like hundreds to thousands that it is at this point sees it as being taken advantage of or being preyed upon. For them to do something like this, they are not a high value man. They are not a high value man, and they're not deserving of a high value woman if they're going to queue up for 8+ hours for a shag. Not a high value man. Not husband material, not boyfriend material, not a high value man, not someone who is going to lead this society. We need strong men and someone quivering and shaking because they've lined up for 8 hours to lose their virginity. Ain't it? I'm becoming an alpha female grind set person because I've had enough. Use their rhetoric back against them. Anyway, should we continue? Am I the one that's going to get in trouble for this? I'm sure Rachel's making like a very well thought out feminist takedown, and I'm here being like, where have all the real men gone? Oh my god, babe, you're doing such a public service. You're essentially a charity. Sorry, is this like the 1990s? Who's picking on? No, I can't say that. I can't say that. In my early 20s, my catchphrase was literally don't care virgin. So I can't be like, who's picking on virgins? It's not really a flex though. She's banging like hundreds of these virgins. So it's just not a flex. Maybe it's a flex if there's nothing interesting about you. These people are just so mundane. It's so banal. Is it banal or is it banal? Should I start saying banal? It's so banal of these people. It's just not fucking interesting. Again, this is why we aren't exploring space, because everyone's so obsessed with sex. Like, get a grip. I've seen some of the videos on her Instagram of like these blokes queuing up, and it is genuinely like really embarrassing. She blurs their faces out, but when you hear them, oh my god. There was this one I saw where she was like, so what are you gonna do to me? And this bloke was like, I'm gonna ruin you. It's like, and they get like 2 minutes, I think. The ones I saw, they were getting 2 minutes because she was doing, I have to admit, this is funny. You know, the whole like, do you want this or double up and give it to the next person? She was doing that. 2 minutes with me or double up and give 4 minutes to the next person. That is kind of funny. But like these blokes are like quivering, being like, yeah, I'm gonna ruin you, babe. What was my point? Oh, I have so many thoughts. And it's like, firstly, you've got 2 minutes with her, behave. You and your tiny little shriveled pee-pee are not doing anything to her. Secondly, she shagged like bare lads now. Went M to the B there. She shagged bare lads. Like, you ain't gonna bring anything she's never seen to the table. Thirdly, my main point, security concern. I don't know if she has any security. I read an article that she put her own address online, and that's how these blokes are like queuing up outside her house or flat to bang. Does she have a security guard? I would hope she has a security guard. Otherwise, that's just the dumbest. Because I think she views sex as like giving to a man rather than something that people are equally participating in, because she has some problematic viewpoints we'll get onto in a bit. Is she such a pick-me that she thinks because she's giving these blokes sex, they're like, none of them are dangerous? Honestly baffling. Does she have security? I would hope she has security. Is that a Guinness Book of World Records? Because if it's not, I'm just not impressed, babe. 150, I could do that in 2 seconds. Sorry. God truly does give his toughest battles to his strongest warriors. Is that why her jaw's quite defined? I'm clearly missing a trick here. Need to slim down my big old jaw. What an amazing exercise regime. Imagine like saying that to your PT. I should be the one doing this podcast, clearly. Oh God, no. Grace and I don't think similar, do we? Oh God, I'm not that smart after all. But I'm being so bitchy. She's the one who platformed Bonnie. Not me. I'm allowed to be mean. Hope you got your money's worth out of that. The unis. Do you think a professor is... That's what I mean. Embarrassing behaviour from the men. So embarrassing. I would quit that lecturer's class. Like, get a grip. Pathetic. There is nothing more pathetic than men. Prove me wrong. What? They would have been up for doing it together if she'd not stepped in and said, no, that's a bit too inbred. Pathetic. That's basically inbred. I'm just saying. Is it? Why would that come? Stupid question. Why would that come up? Oh, by the way, your son's knob is bigger than yours. But Bonnie doesn't care because she's not a girl's girl. She has no morals or integrity. She would do anyone, clearly, despite their relationship status. And I know there are people that are like, well, it's the responsibility of the one who's in the relationship. I do agree. I think it's like a good 95% of the responsibility, but if you don't feel like a little bit guilty, whether you've like been the participant of emotional cheating, an affair, like full-on cheating, this idea, I've met people who are like this, who are like, well, I owe that person nothing because I don't know them. And it's like, yeah, but you wouldn't like it if it was done to you. Like the cognitive dissonance some people must have, because look, I'm not perfect. Have I been in situations with blokes who have lied about being single? Yes, because I was naive and dumb. I didn't know yet to just never trust men. Did I not feel terrible and guilty about afterwards? Yes. I feel like that's the least I could do, is feel really guilty, even if it was like an unwitting participant. But she knowingly, she doesn't give a shit. She doesn't care about anyone else. I think she harbours under some delusion that, you know, if she was to ever get a boyfriend and want to be monogamous with him one day, they just would never do it to her because she's so beautiful, which is hilarious. The types of blokes who cheat will honestly cheat with like a ham sandwich, dude. Actually, PSA for my a little bit younger audience, like, you can't stop someone from cheating either. If they're going to cheat, it's kind of a little bit like, allow it, fam. If they do that to you, but you've got to have the strict boundary of being like, okay, well, you're out of here. You can't. It's like the Sam and Nia book, right? Like her going through his phone and his Facebook contacts and doing all of this crazy stuff, when it's like, if you have to do all of that in the first place to try to prevent someone from cheating, and it doesn't prevent him because he still goes to like Starbucks and flirts with people, just let it go. Let it go. Don't bother. Anyway, Grace agreeing with it. Grace has a girlfriend, by the way. How would you feel if Bonnie used the same logic to bang your missus? You wouldn't like it, would you? Instead of sitting there like a seal, being like, oh yeah, that's a good point, if they're not going to go down them. Not yet, but give it a year or so when she's been with like a million blokes in the UK. It'll happen eventually. See, she's not girl's girl because she's blaming the wife for the man's infertility. Also, this conversation is a bit ridiculous because it's running under the presupposition that it's only men who cheat when women are horn dogs too, and women be cheating. Like a lot of women be cheating. This sort of infantilizing, well, men can't help cheating, it's within their biology. I've known a few incredibly manipulative and not stupid men who tried to tell me that once, well, it's in my biology to cheat. Anyway, let's not get into the whole biology chat because I've done that before. I don't care. But she's blaming the woman, like, you're not good enough at sex or you're not doing it enough. Therefore, what do you expect? Do you expect your husband to not cheat on you? Yeah, basically. Because when you enter a monogamous relationship, you would think that people would just honour those informal vows they've made to each other rather than, I don't know, run the risk of damaging their partner emotionally if they were to find out about cheating. You would hope people wouldn't be this shitty. I was trying to think of the word duplicitous, but I can't pronounce it, so shitty will do. What fucking century do you live in? Now I'm getting mad. What century do you live in? What households are there where both partners don't have to have a job in this fucking economy? It's not the 18th century anymore where women are kept women. And even then, women still had affairs too. Look at Anna Karenina. You obviously don't completely understand it. If you're trying to refute the argument, you don't understand it. You are so stupid. No one is entitled to your body. No one is owed sex. What Bonnie here is doing is actually validating rape culture, because it's only a hop, skip and a jump from that argument to, well, they married me, so I'm owed sex whenever I like it. Which spousal rape was only really introduced as a law within a few decades ago within the UK. I think before then wasn't seen as rape because, you know, if you're with your husband or your partner, that's the consent. Consent can be redacted at any time. So to big these types of men up and to validate their entitlement is a very, very, very slippery slope. And if you think I'm exaggerating, need I remind you that it was only a few years ago in which Onision got a question from a subscriber that was basically, my husband or my partner is touching me in my sleep and I don't like it. How do I get them to stop? And Onision turned around and said, well, don't you love them? If you love them, why wouldn't you want them touching you whenever they want to? These aren't that rare of entitled thoughts or thought patterns. So for her to sit there and be like, well, if you want the house clean, you're going to have to like suck some dick. is stupid. It's damaging, it validates rape culture, it's toxic, but also it's stupid. Nobody is entitled to anyone else's body. And if you're going to make an informal vow of loyalty to someone, if you're going to say, let's be in a monogamous relationship, then you have to respect that. Well, you don't have to. You can go and cheat. But if you're going to cheat, then that can't be without consequences, because cheaters don't like it when you call them out for being dickheads. They don't like it. Just don't be a dickhead. It's not hard. It's literally not hard to not be a dickhead. Anyway, yes, Grace, let's monetize and profit off of the demise of other people's relationships. Are you dumb? Yes, you are all dumb. I should be listening to John Locke. Alas, I'm also dumb, hence why I'm doing this. I shouldn't really be giving this kind of stuff attention. I know that. I don't care. Why are you so amazed by that? Woman likes doggy with extra steps. More news at 10. Who doesn't like doggy? It hits better when it's at an episode. You're all so stupid. You're all so stupid. She's not 24. Grace is only 25. But I was smarter at that age. I don't know how you do that in the lesbian version. Like, obviously, this is right then. Can you imagine me? Be like that scene from American Psycho. So she doesn't use protection when giving men blowies and uses this excuse of, well, I get tested every 2 weeks. But if you're blowing 100 guys in one weekend, you might start off STD free. She's not having sex with other porn stars. She's having sex with freshers. She's having sex with teenagers, basically. Teenagers who aren't required to get STD checkups. So she could easily be passing so many STDs on. Load of rubbish. Statistically, I don't believe that she's never had an STD. Statistically, if she's not using, again, she's not shagging other people in the adult industry, she's shagging freshers and teenagers. If she's blowing like 100 guys every week, but she's only getting tested once every 2 weeks, I don't believe it. Quite a lot of English blokes have STDs. I just don't believe that she's never had something and passed it on to like 20 other guys that same night. Don't believe it. And even then, she's probably getting HPV a lot. Now, if you're sexually active, you are most likely going to get HPV once in your lifetime. With men, it's symptomless. And with men, it doesn't really do anything and it just goes away by itself. But with women, it can cause cell abnormalities that can lead on to cervical cancer. I'd be a bit concerned if she was getting HPV a lot. Why should I be concerned, actually? She clearly doesn't care if she's not using condoms for the bloke. Do you actually love that, Grace? You're being so try-hard. The disdain. I'm going to have to make a formal apology for this video. I don't care. I'm bored, actually. Get to the toxic stuff. Was that the whole story? My God, Bonnie, that was really boring, babe. No, Grace. She let them continue believing that she was being held hostage and that they had to pay a ransom to her every month. Bare minimum. What a sad little life, Bonnie. You would help your dad cheat on your mum if your mum couldn't be bothered to do a bit of sex. Are you okay, Bonnie? Or are you just a huge misogynist? Why do you hate your own mum, actually? Because that's a pretty crazy thing to say. Why do you hate your mum? What did she do to you? Have you got some mummy issues? Why are you batting for your dad so hard? Have you got daddy issues? Get in line if so. Not the line that's outside your flat right now. If I were a bloke and I knew that my girlfriend, like the spark's gone a little bit, and my girlfriend was forcing herself to be in the mood just so I wouldn't cheat, that would not make me feel good about myself if I was the bloke. Clearly these blokes aren't thinking like that far ahead though. Why is the onus on the woman? Maybe the spark's gone, the bloke's not bothering to put in the effort, to do the date nights, to look after themselves. Why does it have to be on the woman? Why don't the men make themselves more high value, make themselves more attractive, and then their girlfriends will want to have sex with them? Let's turn it back on the men, shall we? Bonnie, you are such a pick-me. You're such a pick-me. You're batting so hard for them. But they will never respect you or even like you that much, really. They'll never see you as anything more than a momentary vagina. I will say, though, I do agree that sex is an important part of most relationships, though there are certainly romantic relationships people can have where maybe they're both asexual. They still feel romantically, but they're just not sexual. Sure. So some caveats included. Sex is an important part of a relationship. I'd say intimacy's more important though. But what's most important is the communication and the love and respect that you have for each other, where if you are having some sexual problems, you should be able to talk to your partner about it honestly and frankly. Like, if you're at a point where you're cheating, just like bail. Just bail. Easy solution, just don't date men who don't wash themselves properly. Not even go wash your hand. Are you dumb? Are you dumb? Bravery is a word for it, sure. What would mine be? Thank you so much for asking, Grace and Bonnie. It's a toss-up between, do I stick with my morals to the very, very end of my life and go for something delicious and vegan and high quality, or do I get the thing that I crave sometimes the most? Just a really, really extra cheesy margarita pizza. Do I just do that? So I suppose if I'm getting like the electric chair or something, and I've not had dairy in a long time, there'd be quite a mess for the people who are killing me to clean up afterwards. So I think I would actually do the extra cheesy margarita pizza just out of sheer spite. She doesn't know what position girl on top is. I'm starting to think she's not the sexpert she's making herself out to be. That's kind of funny, actually. I'll give her a little bit of grace. Carl Pilkington has been voted women's weirdest like #1 crush a few years in a row, so works for him. Fill me up. That shit. Hit them with a good daddy, and if they don't like that, they're not the one. I'm very unimpressed with this porn star. So, that is so funny that she thinks that about these blokes that she's like willingly sleeping with. That she thinks that actually they are right mingers, but... Do I feel bad for the men? Ouch, I guess. Ouch. Take a shower, you grim person. Is that kink shaming? I don't care. Just go take a shower. And not that type of shower. Again, grim. Like, she sees it as a compliment if, like, blokes cheat on their wives and stuff with her. Yeah. But it's like, if the caliber of man that is cheating on their partner with you are the same type of man who don't wash their dick, it's nothing to be proud of. She's Stockholmed herself. I'm joking. Dare I say it's really not rocket science. Just don't bite them unless they're into that. Who is picking on people for being too pretty or having too much money? Strange. Is it fair, Grace? Again, other women shouldn't really be the enemy. And trying to denigrate them by being a bit ageist, by being like, well, it's just middle-aged women that have the problem with me. The middle-aged women aren't the ones lying about their real age, Bonnie. Imagine she actually is 24. I don't care. No, I don't believe it. That's my conspiracy theory. Like, you're dismissing and you're devaluing women just because you think that they're old and bitter and jealous of you. I've seen a lot of blokes defend her with the uni student thing, being like, well, it's legal even if it's icky. But I've also seen a lot of blokes be horrible about her online, whether it's like on the TikToks, or not the TikToks, I'm not old, but on the TikToks of this podcast interview, or like on Instagram and stuff. I've seen blokes try and be like a male saviour to her. I've seen guys like on her Instagram comments being like, you're clearly articulate and intelligent. Doubt. So why are you choosing this career path? Oh, I could save you and change you. I've seen blokes being quite vile about her, or being like, what about when she's older and she wants a boyfriend, she's going to be used up, as if like porn stars don't, get married. But she doesn't say a peep about them. It's always just, oh, it's the women who are just jealous because their husbands would want to bang me. Grace is just clapping seal, isn't she? Oof, every time she fucking agrees with her. Like, is there any brain cells rattling around on this set? You can say that about these people, and I don't deny it probably is true. Like, you get all sorts. Do you know what? We should bring back being able to call people ugly. Sorry, I'm not going to continue that thought. I'm just going to let that simmer in the ether. Like, I find it funny all the times that I've had ugly men try and be mean to me online, and it's like, look at you though. What do you mean? Like, go wash your face, brush your teeth. But she can't be saying this, and then like not a moment ago she was saying, because she shags people who are minging, and also whose like penis stench is that bad that she's gagging. Like, it's just a bit like not consistent. Don't knock a good daddy issue, babe. So they met when she was 13, they were together for 10 years, and then they divorced, but she's been doing this properly for a year, but she's been doing it for like a few years. Is she 24 though? Are they pimping out their own daughter? Gotta love having a supportive family, right? So you convince these freshly turned 18-year-old virgins who have come in 2 seconds to still have the video uploaded. Like, they are so going to be made fun of by their mates to do the gender reversal. Imagine a late 20s but pretending to be 24-year-old man saying this about freshly turned 18-year-olds. Freshly legal. Though part of me does wonder something. The age of consent in the UK is 16. I think she's only really going for the 18-year-olds and the 18-year-old virgins just because Americans would go nuts about it. I do wonder though, because clearly morality is not stopping her from doing anything. Also, people can create fake IDs. It's not uncommon here for people to have fake IDs to, get into pubs and clubs. One of my friends was like 14 and she would go to clubs in London. I'm sure there have been like some 16-year-olds who have gotten a fake ID and tried that. I'm sure of it. Now, obviously, there were some boys who ordered bathwater who had girlfriends, so I guess it kind of hurt them, but that's on... To my knowledge, it didn't hurt anyone anyway. Whereas this little Miss Pick Me is deliberately using kind of almost Tate adjacent talking points in her podcasts, that your husband is entitled to have sex with you, and if you don't put the effort in, he's going to cheat on you with me, and I don't care because you're old and ugly. Like, she's a bit awful. No, I misspelled Delphine. Come back, please. Were you starstruck by the fake taxi bloke? Oh, babe. I feel like some of this has been cut out or something, because I remember some more stuff. There are some funny jump cuts in this, and I do recall more stuff about the whole 18-year-old and how she said that she's not doing anything wrong because they use those titles on sites like Pornhub anyway. And it's like, yeah, they do use titles like that, which is gross. I don't like it. But also the people who are in those like clearly aren't 18 and aren't teenagers, like clearly. So I remember, I wonder if they've cut some of it out. Grace, you're laughing, but she actually would bang your missus and she wouldn't give a flying fuck if it upset you, which would be kind of hilarious actually. And I would have no sympathy because you've chosen to platform someone who is misogynistic to other women and ageist to women. Like, complain about the men who give you grief online, but no, nothing. Crickets. Yes, you can, Grace, just believe in yourself. But you've not said that all. It's all just been about men going elsewhere and men cheating and men this, men that. So why would Grace's girlfriend cheat? You've not mentioned women in that, you've only mentioned women to be derogatory. You've not mentioned women in that infantilizing way. So really don't make any sense, and you're being inconsistent. Hate inconsistency. It's not been incredible. It's been humorous in parts but boring at most. That was Bonnie Blue being a massive pick me, and she's on some other stuff, so I'm bored of this video, but maybe I'll cover the other ones that she's done. Depends how well this video does. Anyway, that's all for today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you check out my merch, ayclothing.com. Also, no, before we finish, I've seen some people say, oh, people are only reacting negatively towards her because she's a woman and women's pleasure and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, no, it's nothing to do with that. It's because she's been misogynistic. People like Tate and the Tate adjacents are very misogynistic, fresh and fit, and they get called out for it too. So don't play the fucking woman card in this. She's just being gross to other women and sees other women as the enemy. And I think they cut some of that podcast out, or I'm conflating it with a different... We'll find out. What did you think of the episode? Do you think men are entitled to women's bodies if they're in relationships with them? Bye.